creating art will fix your self-esteem. Now, what do I mean by this, right? I think a lot of people think, or not even think, but they're trapped in a world where their self-esteem is based off of what other people think about them. And what do I mean by this, right? Which is people are trapped in a world where the only way they can view themselves, the only way they can see their emotions is through other people, based off of how other people perceive them, right? And they don't really have a way, which is creating art, to be able to see their emotions on their own, to be able to see their personality and who they are on their own, right? And I would say, in the previous video that I made about how to fix your no, why you have a low self-esteem, I highly recommend watching that. This is kind of like a part two, but they're all independent. But yeah, so basically, yeah, a lot of people are trapped in a world where they can only see their emotions through other people, and they're constantly like, at least for me when I was in school, right? When I was in the classroom, that was my entire world, right? Because every thought that I had about myself, or how I viewed myself, every opinion I had about myself was based off of how I operated and based off of my place in that classroom, right? And so when I was bullied a lot, right? And I didn't really have I had one or two close friends because I was considered the weird kids, right? And the weird kids stuck together, at least for the most part. But I had a few friends, but I was always picked on for being weird, and I think that's just a common thing for everyone, or every school, or just every culture, and just it's a human thing to. It's the cool kids, the cool and what do you call it? The cool and funny kids pick on the smart and weird kids. That's usually how it usually works, right? And then later on, the cool and funny kids, or the what you call it? The smart and weird kids and are more successful than the cool and funny kids. Unless you're funny and smart, and then you can make a career out of comedy, which a lot of people do. But no, that's not even the point of this video, right? The point of this video is creating art will fix your low self-esteem, or fix your self-esteem in general, right? Because when you're in a world where someone says something to you, and that determines whether you're in a good mood or bad mood, because if you're in a world where you need constant what is the word, not feedback, good feedback, I guess, but what is the validation, where you need constant validation or reassurance, or you just I don't know how to explain it, but it's the fact of you care so much about what other people think, right? And you don't have a way to care about what you think, right? And creating art is a way of caring about what you think, right? And caring about who you are, because you want other people to care about who you are. You want other people to like who you are, but you haven't even took the time to write and to film yourself and to really get to know yourself. So that how can you like yourself if you don't even know yourself? And so of course you're in this constant crisis or battle of worrying about what other people think, because you don't know yourself. And so since you don't know yourself, you're kind of just I don't even know how to explain it, but you're running on whims, or you're running on what feels good in the moment. You're running on based off of you could have 10 people say really nice things, really good things about you, right? Then if one person said one dirty, not bad thing about you that sort of might be true, or may not even be true at all, that will ruin your mood, at least for most people, right? And you might be able to hide it and shake it off, but it still leaves a little a little after effect or aftershock in your emotional state, right? Because later on you'll think about it and you'll be like, damn, I can't believe he said that, or I can't believe she said that. How could she say that about me? Blah blah. And it's gonna bother you a little bit. It's gonna stay in your consciousness and psyche, right? And yeah, but why does it bother you? You never ask, hey, is it actually this person that's bothering me? Or is it the fact that I don't really know myself, and I don't even know if what that person said is true or not, because I haven't even took the time to figure out who I am. So that's probably what really bothers me. It's the fact of not even what they said, that what they said might be completely like false and not even true at all. But it's just the fact that I can't confirm it within myself. I can't deny it within myself because I don't know myself, right? And so, yeah, you need to be able to take the time and be able to sit alone with yourself and be able to journal and journal your thoughts. You know, I try to journal every day, and I'm not gonna act like I'm perfect. I don't journal every day, and I'm not gonna be one of these guys that say I do, but I am trying to journal every day as much as I can, and I'm giving y'all that same piece of advice. Try to journal your thoughts, and journaling is really easy. I used to think it was very difficult. Like I did not understand journaling. Nobody even taught me how to journal. Schools don't teach you that. Teachers don't teach you that. So I really had to teach myself, and I'll teach y'all what I taught myself on how to journal, right? So how do you journal, right? It's actually quite simple. You just journal how you feel. Now that statement alone seems so simple that it's complicated. Like you get what I'm saying? Like it's so simple that it kind of makes it so complicated. But you just journal how you feel, right? And like kind of what I did, right? When I first started my journal, or whatever, I didn't want to do it, right? It was kind of uncomfortable. I didn't know what to write about, and so I literally wrote about that feeling that I had about wanting to write the journal, right? Or getting myself to write the journal. I wrote, hey, it was uncomfortable for me to get myself to write this journal because I don't even know what to write about. And I know I need to write about how I feel, really, but I don't know the right way to do that. And then I wrote, I don't think there is a right way, so I guess I'll just write about how I feel about the day. And I literally just quoted exactly, and that's crazy I remembered it like that. But yeah, you just write exactly how you feel. How do you feel in that moment? Write about that. How do you feel about that day? Like the overall day. Write about that. Write about, hey, how did you wake up this morning? Was it a good morning? Hey, did you watch any movies today? Did you hear any songs that you really like? Was there any certain conversations that you really enjoyed? Well, what bothered you today? Or what's bothering you? Or how you feel about the week? What bothered you in the week? Or let's say anything about the past. Ask yourself, is there anything in the past that bothers me that still bothers me today? Or is there something in the future that's bothering you? So an event that's coming up, or a person that you need to meet, or something that you need to take care of, some business you need to take care of. You write that down too. You write down every emotion from the past, the future, the present, all of it, right? And everything that comes up in your psyche, you write it down, right? And so that is the process of journaling. You ask yourself, how do I feel? Whatever comes up, you write it down. And then you just do that until you literally can, and you have to be patient with yourself. You don't need to go in the mindset of, hey, I need to journal, I need to get this over with, blah, blah. This is a task like cleaning my room, or this is just a chore I need to do, right? No, this is creating art. And if you try to be impatient, and if you try to rush it, then you're not going to create art, and it's not going to at all affect your self-esteem, because you're just going, when you do art just to get it over with and get it out of the way like it's just some type of chore, then it will not fix your self-esteem. It actually will cause you to have a low self-esteem, because you're not enjoying something that is actually, there's a lot of enjoyment and a lot of fulfillment out of this, right? And you're not really like taking it serious. And so yeah, you really just need to be patient with yourself and just ask yourself, and just you don't have to write a whole page of journal, right? You just need to sit with yourself and ask yourself these questions, right? How do I feel? Blah, 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 right? And whatever comes up, just write it down. And if you get to the point where nothing's coming up anymore, or you can even write about things you're looking forward to. Like I said, it doesn't even have to be negative. A lot of my journals were very negative, right? But you could write about positive things. Is there a movie that you're looking forward to? Like for me, it's the Deadpool and Wolverine movie that I'm looking forward to, that I really want to watch. I can't wait for it to come out. But yeah, like just write about things that you enjoy in life, right? And it's another process of creating art, which is communicating your enjoyments in life, right? And so yeah, that's pretty much it for journaling. Just sit there, be patient with yourself, understand that this is not it's not going to take, first of all, it's not going to take 30 minutes. It's not going to take an hour. It usually only takes a few minutes, but you have to be able to sit with yourself and ask yourself these questions without complaining, without trying to avoid the task, or without trying to procrastinate, or without trying to rush it or anything. Just sit with yourself and kind of just allow yourself to be at peace. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, that sums it up for journaling, right? And what that will do is it will get you, it won't completely separate your view in your workplace or in your classroom or whatever, and like, you won't completely forget about all that stuff, right? But what that would do is allow you to see your emotions without other people, right? And this is kind of like what you're trying to do with art, right? Because when you create art, you can, especially when you can create art with other people, right? But that's different. I'm talking about creating art by yourself and alone, right? When you create art by yourself and alone, you can see your emotions on your own without other people, right? Which is a lot of times that we can't do. This is why we can't be alone with our thoughts. This is why we experience loneliness, right? And I think that's what loneliness is. It's the fact that you need to communicate your emotions. You have some emotions that you need to communicate. And since you haven't communicated it, it's overwhelming you in your mind because you have this thing that really needs to be communicated because you've been thinking about it so much. But since you're not allowing yourself, or other people won't allow you to communicate it, actually both, since other people won't allow you to communicate it, and you're not allowing yourself to communicate it through journals or record a video, then you are going to get overwhelmed by your own emotions, and you'll get loneliness, and you'll probably turn to drugs, you'll probably turn to dopamine, you're just turning to so many vices and distractions so that you can forget that awful feeling. It's just not even an awful feeling, it's just a bunch of emotional energy that's been built up that needs to be released, kind of like a balloon that's been inflating, and you need to deflate it so that, you just need to have the process of deflating your balloon, your mental balloon, your emotional balloon, right? Which journaling, video, well, actually, since we have cameras now, I think video journals, and that's probably why I don't write a journal every day. I think video journals are just as effective as written journals. They're literally the same thing. Like, as I'm doing now, I could literally, like, they're the same thing. And like, there are some differences, but in terms of releasing that emotional balloon and releasing those emotions that has been building up inside of me, they do the same thing, right? So it might be different in techniques or how whatever, but they offer the same relief or the same fulfillment, right? And so where was I getting with that? And talking about your emotional state, talking about releasing those emotions, talking about being able to see your emotions on your own. You're trying to work on seeing your emotions, seeing yourself by yourself alone, so that you don't need other people to tell you who you are. And when you do this, you will not be as lonely as much. Which loneliness, something about loneliness that I learned about is loneliness is linked to almost everything. It's not just loneliness is linked to boredom. Loneliness is linked to trauma. Loneliness is linked to like a lot of stuff, right? If you can't deal with your trauma on your own, that causes loneliness. If you can't be bored on your own, that causes loneliness. If you can't, like, there's a lot of, and I have to make a separate video talking about loneliness, which I will, but this is another thing that causes loneliness. When you have all these emotions that you need to communicate, which is the main thing, right? If you have all these emotions that you need to communicate, you're not communicating them, and you don't have other people to allow you to communicate them, then you need to allow yourself to communicate them. But like I said, with a written journal or a video journal. Because, and I think about it like this, right? When you look in the mirror, you can see your physical self, right? But you can't see your emotions. And the only emotions that you can see in a physical mirror is your facial expressions. Facial expressions. You can make a sad face. I can't really do it, but you can make a happy face. You can change your facial expressions, right? But you can't actually, besides that, you can't actually communicate any emotions in the mirror. I mean, you could talk to yourself in the mirror, but that's a little cuckoo. That's a little crazy. I would recommend doing that. I'm sure it probably would have some type of effect or some type of relief talking to yourself in the mirror. I'm sure some people do it, but I wouldn't go about doing that. I personally, I guess talking to the camera is kind of sort of the same thing, but when I talk to the camera, I'm able to release my emotions through my voice. You could hear my emotions when I change my tone, which I'm kind of monotone a lot on purpose, because not on purpose, but by default, because of how I grew up, and since I was so scared about, or since I was hiding so much emotions from other people, I had to develop that monotone. I had to develop that poker face of showing no emotion, speaking no emotion, so that other people wouldn't know that I was anxious or I was hurting inside. And so now this is kind of like my default state, and I have to like learn how, not learn, but naturally learn how to become comfortable communicating my emotions via through facial expressions, through my tonality, through all that. Even, I guess, communicate my emotions through hands, which I'm mostly a hands-on person anyway. But yeah, so let me try to think of some more. Yeah, by creating art, you will fix your self-esteem, because you can't see your emotions in a mirror, right? And since you can't see your emotions in the mirror, then you have to rely on other people in order to see your emotions, right? But when you rely on other people to see your emotions, you are in a constant battle of, do they like me? Do they hate me? Do they like me? Like, or I hope I didn't make this person upset. Like, you are in a people pleasing, almost attention seeking, like kind of mode, right? And I can easily spot myself doing this because I've been doing it for so long, but it takes time to be able to get out of that habit. But in order to like really get out of that habit, journaling, like I was said, with either the written journal or recording yourself, it seems to me that seems to be the only way. And it really just, what I really think about is, if I was on Earth by myself, like let's say I was the last human being on Earth and I had no one to talk to. First of all, you wouldn't even care about what other people think, because you wouldn't have other people to talk to. So you're really just stuck with yourself. And so if you're stuck with yourself and you're alone with yourself, how are you going to deal with your loneliness? How are you going to deal with all that emotional energy that's been building up inside of you, right? How do you release that? At least for me, I would still be journaling. And if I had my camera and my phone still working, I could still charge it and would be filming myself. Even if the fact is that no one will watch it. It's not the point of no one will watch it. It's the point of, I have a lot of emotions and I have a lot of thoughts that I want to communicate. And if I don't communicate them, then I'll suffer from loneliness. Then I'll be emotionally overwhelmed, and I'll just be, driving myself crazy in my head, right? And so, yeah, you don't really want that. And so, yeah, journaling can offer you emotional relief and release those emotions. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. I guess I feel like I didn't really explain it that well, but yeah, I'll try to kind of make a part 3 talking about, yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'll see you on the next video. Hope you enjoy.